G'day everyone, I'm back with another tips video for you guys, and if you haven't seen the other ones I've done on my channel, I'll be sure to link them in the description for you so you can go and check them out after this. Also, stick around till the end because I've got a little bonus tip in there which I think you'll find very helpful. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Build civilian factories from mid to late 1938 and then adjust from there. One of the hardest things to figure out as a new player is how to balance your industry, and honestly, it takes a bit of trial and error to find the right strategy for you. That's why I recommend using mid-38 as a starting point, where you only build civs up until that time, which will give you a really solid base of civilian factories, which you can use towards your military production, trade, and everything else. As you play more and more, you'll get a better understanding of how much you need to focus on your civilian industry before switching over to military production. Over time, you'll find that you might want to build civs for longer as some nations, or go the other way and start building mills from 1937 or even from the start of the game. Either way, for most countries and while you're getting your eye in, building civs till mid-38 will give you a really solid industry by the time the war starts. Having a small resource deficit is okay. Although it's perfectly fine to always keep yourself in a trade surplus, it's important to understand that small deficits are not as bad as you may think. When you have a resource deficit, it will apply to the lowest production line, which uses that resource in your production menu, as shown by the red resource icon to the right of the production line. By checking the tooltip from the daily production section, you can see here that a deficit of only 3 steel actually only reduces our production efficiency by 1.9%. This does vary by equipment type though, so if we drag our cruiser class down, we can see that this actually impacts it by 2.6%, or for our destroyers, it will impact it by 4.1%. A better example is if we increase our steel deficit to -8, which you can see at the top of the production menu here, it actually affects our infantry equipment production by 8.5%. However, if we then look at the effect on our ships, it's now 25% on our destroyers and 8% on our cruisers. It's up to you how much of a penalty you're willing to bear, but as a general rule, I would say having a deficit of around 6 to 7 resources will have a pretty minimal impact on your low production cost equipment, maybe a bit more for your naval ships and stuff, and it's going to free up some extra civs for you to use. Where your production queue is organized matters. When you build new military factories and dockyards, they're automatically assigned to the highest production lines in your queue. You can use this feature to assign new factories to your most important or urgent equipment that you need constructed. And then any new factories will trickle down the list, filling out the bottom production lines later. Likewise, when you lose factories and dockyards, either through losing territory, your factories being damaged, or being used to repair ships, they're removed from the lowest production lines first. Resource deficits also affect the lowest production lines that require the missing resource first. A good way to manage this is to have equipment of a lower priority to you and that will be less affected by losing production efficiency at the bottom of your production queue, like your navy and a backup line of infantry equipment. Use Shift and Control to add the maximum number of buildings to the top of your construction queue. You all know that when you left click, you queue up a single building for construction and you right click to remove a building from construction. But there is an easy way to not only add or remove the max number of buildings, but also immediately put them at the top of your construction queue. Holding Shift when queuing a building for construction will add the maximum number to the queue, while holding Control will add a single building to the top of the queue. Holding Shift and Control together will add the maximum number of buildings available immediately to the top of your queue. It's a super easy way to add important buildings that you want constructed first to the top of your construction queue without having to go through and reorganize them in the list. Before we get to the second half of the video, if you guys are enjoying this, please like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot in terms of getting this video out in front of more people. Also, if you would like 1 week early access to new videos, please consider becoming a channel member. And I also have a merch store if you are interested in picking up some HammoTimee branded hoodies, shirts, I've got hats, mugs, as well as some other stuff as well. So I'll link that down in the description if you wouldn't mind checking it out. Back to the video. Hold Control and right click to support attack. If you want a division or divisions to join in on an attack, but you don't want them to move into that province once the battle is won, which would mess up your front line and leave you open to being encircled, you can use the support attack feature to do this. Select the division or divisions that you want to support attack, hold Control, and then right click on an active battle where you are the attacker. A blue arrow will now appear, and that is showing that the support attack feature is active and your divisions won't move into this province after the battle has ended. If I unpause, you'll now see that these divisions have joined the battle. This is a good way of expanding your combat width. Now the battle is won, you can see that the divisions that were on the support attack have stayed behind and the initial attacking divisions have moved into the province. It's important to note that this is only for battles where you are the attacker. If you're defending, you can't have divisions support defend. You'll have to move them into the province that's under attack to be able to defend it. Increase your motorization by army rather than by supply hub. If you find that you're struggling with a lack of supply, shown by the little orange or red crate icons on your divisions, there is a super quick and easy way to help with this. Rather than going into the supply map mode and increasing the motorization level by each individual supply hub, you can simply go to the top right of the army information panel and click through this button here to change the motorization level for all divisions in the army. Horses is the lowest level, 2 trucks is the middle level, and 3 trucks is the highest level of motorization. This will automatically allocate these troops more supply, or extend their range rather, from nearby supply hubs, regardless of their prioritization level. If you select your field marshal and make this change from the army group panel, it will actually change the prioritization level for all armies under their command. You will need trucks and trains to carry this increased supply to your divisions, and you can see your current requirement by hovering over the logistics icon at the top of your screen and checking the tooltip. If you put 1 to 2 mils on trains at the start of the game and then 2 to 3 on trucks, this will be more than enough to meet your supply needs for the whole game. Dispersed industry is better than concentrated most of the time. Dispersed versus concentrated industry is one of the age-old debates in Hearthstone 4. As it stands right now though, the answer is pretty straightforward. Dispersed is going to be better for you in 99% of circumstances. They both give you the same amount of extra factories in your states, and while concentrated does have 5% extra factory output, the key difference maker that you need to know about is the production efficiency retention and base bonuses. These bonuses apply when you upgrade or change your production lines, which you will do many times as most countries as you research new equipment and apply upgrades from MIOs. There are plenty of other videos out there which do a much better job than I at showing the maths behind why it's better, but they all conclusively show that over time you will get more equipment out of the higher base and extra retention than you will from the 5% extra output. As a beginner, the nuances of this game can get a little bit overwhelming, so you can very safely select Dispersed every time you play, knowing that you're selecting a super solid option. Research your industry and electronics techs first. It can be difficult as a beginner to know what to do at the start of a game, and while in most cases it will vary in terms of your focuses, production, etc., with your research there's going to be some techs which will always be a safe bet at the start of your game. First up is your production techs. Anything which increases your production efficiency cap is going to help you create more equipment over time, which is going to make you much stronger when you come to being in a war. Next is your industry, and you want to have more factories helping you snowball and get stronger, as well as increasing your overall factory output. So your industrial techs are what you want to do second. Remember, it's always dispersed over concentrated. Next up is your construction speed. This is especially important as a larger nation with more factories, and again, the snowball effect is really big in Hoi 4, so you'll be getting the maximum benefit out of this tech by doing it earlier. In the engineering tab, you have your electronic and computing techs, which are going to increase your research speed. You want to be doing these as soon as possible, and basically if they're sitting in your menu without having a penalty applied, start them straight away. Your research techs are one of the key ways that you improve and get stronger in Hoi 4, so getting your research speed higher early on is going to help you out greatly. Generally, a really good approach is to start by focusing on these techs until you hit the significant ahead of time penalties before moving on to your other techs. In your focus tree, there are also usually focuses which will give you boosts to your industry techs as well as extra factories, and it's usually a good idea to get on these early as well. The longer that you're going to benefit from these bonuses, the more value you're getting from them and the stronger you'll be. Now, as promised, it's time for the bonus tip. You should research and build armored trains from the beginning of the game. This seems like it goes directly counter to the last tip I gave, but taking one of your research slots at the beginning of the game to research armored trains will do a couple of things. Firstly, it will make sure that you don't forget about doing it, which I always do because the tech is at the bottom of the support menu, one of the least visited menus in the early game. Secondly, the research completed notification will prompt you to start production of this high ISC equipment, which means you're going to build up efficiency really early on, and it'll be providing you trains for the whole game. The reason I recommend armored trains as opposed to just building normal trains is that armored trains not only have an armor rating to protect them from enemy logistic bombing, but they also have air attack, which greatly reduces the effectiveness of enemy CAS trying to target them. This is going to help protect your supply lines, making them much more resilient and reducing the damage your divisions are going to have on This is going to help protect your supply lines, making them more resilient, and reducing the chance of your divisions having their supply interrupted, which, as we know, is a huge part of maintaining your army in this game. I hope you guys found this helpful, and if you did, please let me know in the comments which tip was your favorite. And also, if you have a tip that you'd like to share with the community, drop it down there as well. And if you could please spare a poor YouTuber a like and subscribe, it would really mean a lot to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.